front to the 2017 presidential election race. Mohammed Abduba Dida, why is he throwing his hat in the ring again? What does he have to offer, and do you think he stands any chance? Talk to us. The hashtag is a big question on Twitter. You can also text us. The SMS number is 22422. This was the election results in 2013. If you can look at those figures, Uhuru Kenyatta 6.1 million, Raila Odinga 5.3 million. We had Musalia Mudavadi with 483,000 votes, Peter Kenneth 72,000 votes, and Dida, who many thought brought a lot of humor in the race then, surprised many, coming in 52,848 votes, ahead of Martha Karua, James Ole Kiapi, and Paul Muiti, and only a 20,000 difference of votes difference between him and Peter Kenneth. So what do you think are his chances? Let's take a look first of all what you're saying on Twitter. If you can sample a few. We have Omondi Richi says anyone who is determined to achieve his or her goal is a serious candidate. Dida wants to boost his profile by littering the ballot box and overcrowding presidential debates. It's a big joke. We have Kokeluk Moses. Why are you competing in a race that you very well know you will lose? And Gitau Karaoke, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. This guy can be our next president. I don't trust him. Why can't he go for MCA? Okay, Gitau, I'll ask you'll respond to these questions. Molimu, thank you so much for making time for us tonight. You launched your bid to vie for the presidency on Sunday under the Tunza coalition. This will be your second stab at the presidency. What makes you think you'll win? We've just looked at the figures as they were in 2013. What makes you think you'll win?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You know, Kenyans just see the third stage of human development. The human being goes through 8 stages of development. We have gone through 2, we are now in stage 3, and we are left with 5 others. Losing or failing is meeting your lot when you finish stage 3 and you go to the other subsequent stages, and just realizing that you misused your 70 years, 8 years in this world. So even if it means just sending the message and one Kenyan or one human being changes his or her lifestyle, I'm a big winner. I tell my students in school, I taught in many schools, and I told them every time, we will leave this world and meet God. If the school rules and regulations state that you need to have 3 slices of bread for breakfast and a cup of tea, and by any chance or for any reason, any student will go with 4 slices, a term, a second term, a year, when we meet and all of us are resurrected before God, you will come carrying loads of bread and you are a thief. Okay. I wonder with people stealing money, stealing land, killing people. Right.
We're coming to that, and you tell us what you really plan for this country. From how you've responded to the first question, it makes me think I should ask that question differently. Do you think you stand any chance in 2017?
Well, if Uhuru Kenyatta sincerely, before the public and when all the departments were there, just suggested I'm defeated to hold this office, akauliza kwa Kiswahili, jameni nifanye nini? So, brother, leadership is not what you inherit from your parents, or leadership is not what people impose on you. Move, move, move. We want to steal and fatten under you. Leadership is something that is born in you. Okay. When I look at my brother Raila Odinga, you know, he's telling Kenyans that I want to change this country. What was not in you 70 years ago, okay, that is coming tonight, okay, that is afresh you have for Kenyans. Okay. Kalonzo Musyoka was an MP for 30 years. And today his constituents are just ferrying water in a 20-liter garage. And he's saying, I want to change Kenya. You know, I can save this country by the powers and help of God and those like-minded Kenyans. And we have. All right. We have an option.
I'll come to that question later on. You're saying, what have they done, isn't it? Where have you been the last 4 years yourself? Where have you been?
Good.
And that question has been asked by so many people. For example, Tobiko Vincent 87 on Twitter says, your silence during the Jubilee governance would lead us to assume you are content with their policies. Again, somebody says, no, losing elections makes you opposition to the ruling party, yet He shows up after 4 years. The question is, where have you been all this time?
We live in Africa and we live in Kenya, where leaders are greedy. When an African leader, a Kenyan leader goes to office, the work they do is three. Number one, amassing and getting back what they paid. Two, preparing to gather more to buy Kenyans. Three, castrating potential leaders. And furthermore, you will waste time talking to a deaf, dumb, blind person because they are not ready to listen. I don't like the attribute of saying something and somebody does not want to analyze that whatever a Kenyan is contributing is okay. But he sees, you know, it is bad.
Fine, but on Sunday when you're launching the Tunza coalition, you talked about the policies, what you want done different in this country. So why then? If you're saying it doesn't matter to talk to people about what you want to do over the last 4 years, why now? Why do you talk to people now?
I had meetings with Uhuru. I had meetings with Mudavadi. I called several times with Angula. I did so many things to talk to them. You know, if you make a mistake and somebody corrects you in public, that is not correcting, that's not helping you, that's embarrassing you. I must not sit in the screen or a live show like this to say I'm doing this or that. Every morning we have a program to help this country. And we have contributed in many areas.
Okay.
But I don't like when I see this leader is told. Many people will say, civil societies will say, and so many people will contribute and say this is wrong. You have seen women stripping naked in the street because they are not happy with what is being done.
What is going on?
Yeah. I'm not the type who want to fight. I'm not the type who want to abuse. It is not good for me and you to abuse one another, and then our children are watching. And then I tell them, please be calm when you're abused, be patient.
But you had already gained momentum, that is for a fact, after the 2013 election, prior and after. Don't you think you should have used that momentum, remain in the public limelight in readiness for this election?
The media also concentrates on what is making news. You know, after an election, we go working. And in fact, if we look at the election acts and the Kenyan constitution, all these politicians who are campaigning need to be in jail. Because unless the IEBC will declare this as a season for you to sell your ideas, it is illegal. Uhuru 3 years was in ICC and trying to save himself. Immediately he came, he started calling all the parties and he went campaigning. When did he sit in office to work? Those working now are the Chinese, and I don't know, with their own money. They propose an idea, they fund the idea, they want to manage the idea. It is just that's what we are seeing.
Because you've seen from the tweets you've read, and many people are sending their tweets and texts, some are calling you an opportunist. You're doing this just to gain political mileage ahead of 2017. Or whoever may form the next government will know there's somebody like Dida. It almost happened. I'm not saying you are eyeing that, but it almost happened when you were irregularly appointed as a chair of the CDF.
You know what happened? Why didn't I take that appointment?
Fine, we'll come to that. But
if
the question
is sitting with the president and having a running around and having a name, we could have had, and if that is what we want. What we want is not a name. But furthermore, the name I want, the legacy I want to leave, is to make sure that human beings and humanity and Kenyans have regained their lost glory. The human being is the best thing I've ever read that God has created. The best, greater than the skies, the earth, the moon, the sun. But today, the human being has gone lower than an animal. If man doesn't know his or her value, then the world will be a useless place. The value of this world depends on the human being.
Right.
If we go petty, the world will go worse.
I remember when that appointment was made, I think in 2014. It was irregular. You did not speak until MPs, because you they talked about it in Parliament. They said it was irregular, it had to be rescinded. And after that, I remember you were speaking in Malindi, and you said if such a thing happens, instead of people saying A, B, C, D and throwing names here and there, they should sit and talk. If you really believe in the Constitution, in the rule of law and in fairness, when the appointment was made and you knew very well it was irregular, why didn't you immediately stand up and say, I'm not taking this appointment because of ABCD?
When you dance alone, it's up to you. If the government did the appointment without consulting me, and if I did not get a letter, should I just pop in my nose and tomorrow I'm told, oh, it's another Dida, not even you? I have to wait. And when I realized that the MPs have gone the wrong way, I just took that opportunity as an elder and as a leader to advise the MPs. You should not make this, blow it out of proportion. I appreciate the government to see my potentials to help them, but they should go procedural. And furthermore, when we had a meeting with Uhuru, that I work with him, if somebody calls you, you have to really listen and go. And then return the police.
Was there any other follow-up meeting that you had with him, that he wanted you to work with him after that?
2 meetings before, that he signaled, I want you to work with me.
Right.
And my suggestion was, I will work on condition that there is a work formula.
And after that appointment?
After that appointment, I saw the MPs shouting, and I just advised the MP, the issue was resolved.
You never met again?
We never.
You never looked for him again?
You know, politicians will look, I'm not a politician anyway, politicians will look for you.
You're vying for the presidency.
When they were, no, I'm a leader. I'm not a politician. If you call me a politician in today's language, you are calling me a thug, you're calling me a thief. I don't want that. Just call me a leader.
The process that leads...
Just call me a teacher.
Okay, Mwalimu.
Yes.
But the process that leads to an election and you vying makes you a politician.
I'm in that crowd, but a teacher who wants to reform things. A reformist.
But all the rest you don't think are reformists?
They have the potential, but maybe they don't know what they want.
Okay. Your opponents, many people talk about this, most of them already have a head start with support bases. Whether these support bases are ethnic, as it has always been in this country, still, they have a head start. And that is what we saw in 2013. I mean, going by what we saw in 2013, the voting patterns. This is actually what I asked you, but you didn't respond twice when you began this interview. Is there a way you plan to top the number of votes you got in 2013, and how?
I have my...
You had 52,000 votes.
I had my strategic plan. Last time, the intelligence delayed my certificate. I could not go public talking to people before I get the party full registration certificate. When I got it, it was just 2 months to election. And God saved me with the debates. But this time, we launched, you know, the deadline up to 2nd of March is every political party submits its election policy, nomination policy. I did that today. Number 2, every political party has to put its National Executive Committee and NGC in 2 nationwide newspapers. I did that last week. Now, between 9th of March and 19th, I'm supposed to update my membership register, which I'm doing. When I finish that on 19th and I submit it to the registrar political parties, who the following day will submit it to IBC, I will move to the 47 counties. And I will talk to people. I will tell them what I have for them. I don't think...
And you don't think this is coming too late in the day?
It is not.
Okay. So will you just go and talk to... you'll go to all the 47 counties, you say.
We have...
But do you have any, what people call political strongholds, or where you know you'll get your votes?
My stronghold is a Kenyan who feels the pinch.
So do you
that
think
our life is in problem? We have a problem and we need to solve it. Kenya doesn't belong to a community. Kenya doesn't belong to a tribe. Kenya doesn't belong to those who have money. Kenya belongs to anybody who is born in Kenya and who feels that, you know, putting Kenya right and everybody getting his share and everything working well is an aspect, an indication, a good indicator of an aspect of respecting God.
And do you think...
I was not born in Kenya by default. I was born in Kenya, and God knew why. I was not born in Somalia or America. Donald Trump is an American, and he says, I want our country, America for Americans.
Okay. And you think you're going to top what you got? You think you're going to top what you got?
God willingly, nobody plans to fail.
Right.
Nobody plans to fail.
But this is a question you were asked. This is, I think, less than a year ago. You were talking to our reporter, Sam Gituku. Let's have a look at what you said when he asked you if you want to win this election.
And obviously, the dream of every presidential candidate is to win an election.
No, not winning. Is to change perception, is to change lifestyles. If I give you a message, and you, by that simple message, there is a change in your life positively, I'm a winner.
So you're not interested in occupying the highest office in the land?
There's a problem with you. You see, the problem of this country is leadership. And leadership has a hierarchy and many levels. The most important thing that, if cleared and corrected, will save this country is the presidency.
The question is, and you said this when we actually began this interview, you started saying the same thing, that you just want to change the attitudes of people, which is fine. Then why are you in this? Just for that, or to win? Many have really questioned whether you're in this thing to win.
As a teacher, I was saving lives. And you people, or Kenyans, did not know of what I was doing. When I went for that office, and I mentioned that office, all of you said, oh, well, let's listen to him. If at that personal level, the influence could have been limited, and vying for the presidency, the audience will get the opportunity to get a lot. So many Kenyans are listening to it. The objective is one. We need to please God and retain our lost to glory as human beings. And when I listen to many Kenyans, they say, if you talk to a councillor and MCA, he will tell you, this is a good proposal, like any a phone call from above will frustrate me. The MP will tell you it's a good thing we can do together, but a phone call from above will frustrate me. The cabinet secretary will tell you it is good, but you know, look at those around me. I'm just a stooge. It's my signature. They're just showing the public that that ethnic community has been given a cabinet post, but there's nothing I can do. Now, if you have a tree growing in your house and the leaves are poisonous, you know, shedding the leaves every time will not help. The permanent solution is you uproot that tree. So I thought, well, leadership is at personal level, at family level, at tribal level, your tribe, because nobody chooses his father. It is God that gives you a father. And then it's at town level, you know, it is at the neighboring level, and the national level and international level. So if life will change, and life may change, by the one person who will make the call from above, I will be that person.
Okay. Do you care whether...
But
okay.
if I get the opportunity to talk to them, and by virtue of what I'm saying, they see I'm accountable, and I will meet God soon. President Uhuru Kibaki's father, Uhuru Kenyatta's father, was actually preparing to meet people, to address a gathering. But he collapsed and he died. Where is he now? He has gone to another stage.
Right.
And he is responsible. God will ask him, question him, for everything that has happened in Kenya.
Do you care whether you win or lose the 2017 election?
Nobody will plan to fail.
Okay.
We all want to succeed. We all want to succeed, but if success, I don't attribute success with money, or you come from a big tribe, or you are known, or that is not an issue. Okay. I have an idea. I will sell my idea. Last year, 52,000 people accepted my idea. I never saw them. Yes. I never bribed them. Yes. You see, so I had never had one-on-one to them, conversation with them. Now I will still move around and tell them. Okay. If they see that what I'm articulating and telling them is effective and can change their lives, and maybe they vote, they change their minds, well and good. Okay.
Very briefly, issues of corruption, unemployment, and ethnicity. Very briefly, if you were the president today, what is the one thing you will do to solve corruption? To change corruption? Yeah,
corruption is immoral.
Yes.
We sit together in an office, lock the door, and steal money. If you are alone, God is the second. If you are two, God is the third. If you are three, God is the fourth. Wherever you are with God. You came from Him, and you will be taken to Him.
What will you do?
If you have no respect for God, you have no respect for your own mother, and you cannot have respect for your country.
What will you do?
So the solution to corruption is self-discipline, and self-discipline can be inculcated if we remind people the favors God has bestowed upon them, where they came from and where they are going to. I think religion is one aspect that people fear that will help us.
Fair enough. It's been done. Fair enough what you're saying. I mean, that's one way.
That's corruption.
But it has been done, and we've seen religious leaders talking about corruption. Still, corruption persists in this country.
You know,
it hasn't changed.
Listen, Hussein. I can be a sheikh, an imam, but I'm the most corrupt. Being in a kanzu or having big beards or putting on the robe, and that is never an indicator. If you see somebody flying and he tells you he's godly, look at his lifestyle.
So how do you change it? One thing you will educate people, which has been done.
Listen, give me 15 hours, 15 days. Yes. Every day I will give one lecture. And after that, let's see what...
As the president?
No, as a Kenyan.
Okay.
as a Kenyan,
right.
about ethnicity,
yes.
we are all the children of one father and one mother, Adam and Eve. If you look at your lineage, you will end up in that same family. God has created us in different shapes, in different colors, different languages, different nations by his own wisdom and management. And let me tell you one thing. If we get to know 7 reasons that I have investigated why God has bestowed man to be the best of all creations, we will never kill man, we will never steal from man, we will never cheat a human being.
Fair enough.
It's ignorance.
Fair enough. Ignorance.
So if I know,
we all know that. We all know that.
Yes, if I know God created you,
yeah,
and God has given you value, who am I to disrespect you?
Fair
if
enough.
I disrespect you because of your tribe, and it is not you who has chosen his father, did you choose your father?
Fair enough.
If you were given
Fair
the,
enough.
if you were given the opportunity to choose your father, you could come from which community?
Fair enough,
You could not be here in this citizen, ungekuwa kwa America.
All those things you're saying, I mean, fair enough. All you're saying
yes,
are what is moral, what people should ascribe to. You and I know the reality is different. And that is why I'm asking you,
we will change.
What will you do?
Education will change. You have gone to school, you have listened to many lecturers, and your lifestyle is different, your behavior is different. For our person who has not gone through, we will expose people. I want to request the Christians in Kenya and the Muslims in Kenya. Muhammad is 1400 years old. And Jesus is 2,000 years old. But humanity, according to radioactive decay, is 5.6 billion years old. Let's move from what we are confining ourselves, the cages, and we look at books. Let's read the history of human being. Let's read the history of human being, and this will change us. This is what I have.
Felix, all right. Felix from Kisii, you're in Tunza Coalition. Felix from Kisii says, if you were to choose between NASA and Jubilee, which one will you choose? Which outfit comes closest to what you ascribe to?
None.
Which of the two is the lesser evil?
None. None.
None of them.
None.
Okay.
Are
you open to any pre or post-election coalitions with any of the two?
But I formed NASA. NASA, I had a meeting with Mudavadi. I went to his house in Riverside, and I told him, gentleman, explain to me your relationship or whatever influence you had on Goldenberg. And when he explained that he would blew the whistle, I told him, how can we save this country? He told me, I don't know what we can do. I told him, listen, I will bring 7 gentlemen, you bring 7. I took the responsibility to bring Ekoro Okot, Martha Karua, my dear friend, Charity Ngilu, Ole Kiapi, Paul Mute. I took a team.
This is last year?
He told me that afternoon. Immediately we concluded the meeting, he went for the Democrats nomination, Hillary Clinton in America.
Okay, yes.
And he told me when he comes back, I bring the team. He also brings Gideon Moy. He brings Wetangula. I called Wetangula 4 times, and he told me he's coming. And he was to bring Ruto from Bomet. Then he went for these meetings. After he came back, he took the idea, he went for these meetings, and I just thought, Amani leader has formed a super thing. I called him, gentleman.
So you're saying you're the one who came up with NASA?
I wanted unity. I wanted unity because...
Not necessarily NASA, but you wanted unity.
Unity, the idea of a united team that will understand the problem and wholesomely, together.
All right. For the record, that is your word against Mudavadi. Mudavadi is not here, so we cannot take your word as 100% being the 100% truth, but that is your word. Now you've mentioned something very interesting. Were you ready to, when he said he'll bring Gideon Moy and Isaac Ruto and the rest, if it happened, were you ready to form that coalition?
I did the driving to his place.
So were you ready to form that coalition?
And yes, and I suggested this. And after 4 or 5 minutes, meetings that I was not invited, I called him.
Okay.
And he told, oh, sorry, I was just excited, I was overwhelmed. I'm coming, I'm just on the road, I'll come to Nairobi. Immediately I come, I'll call you.
Okay.
Then the other time he called me was, we are going to Bomas for a lunch. I told him, boss, you have NASA and we have Tunza.
Okay. Now, we want to wind up, but you've contradicted yourself.
According to Hussein.
Yes.
Okay.
When you started this interview, you've said severally you've not even been called a politician. Everybody who's a politician is a thief. You were ready to sit with these politicians and form a coalition.
Good.
How?
My objective is to change anybody, even a thief. And the first thing I discussed with Mudavadi
was... Were you changing them, or were you forming a coalition with them? These are the people you just said, politicians are thieves in this country. You wouldn't want to associate with politicians. You wouldn't want to talk the way they do. And that is why you want even to be called a teacher in
I
campaign.
said I don't want to be called a politician myself. But my mission and objective is to ensure that humanity regains its lost glory. And Mudavadi is a human being. And I can assure you, if Uhuru will accept to step down and be my vice president, or Raila will be my vice president, I know where to take these guys.
That is the only way you can join 8 of them, if that happens.
But you know, what do you have? What do you have? Let's sit down and put our case. We sit down together and see what does this country need. Where do you want to take us? Let me tell you, there was a time that problem was seen to be Moi. And everybody gathered against Moi, they formed a NAC and whatever.
Okay.
After a few times they were fighting. Again, Ruto and Raila were together.
Right.
After some times they were fighting. Kalonzo Musyoka and Uhuru were together. They are still fighting. You know, that is why I told President Uhuru, I can work, but let me see the work formula.
Okay.
If it is acceptable, we can work together. But my objective, Hussein,
yes,
yesterday, today and tomorrow, is to see the glory and the dignity, the honor of the human being that has been lost.
Right.
If you want to know where the human being is before God, I have prepared many lectures, and Kenyans will actually benefit.
Get to listen to them. Okay, thank you very much. Mwalimu Mohamed Abduba Dida, always a pleasure having you in studio. Would have loved to continue this conversation. Time does not allow us. But of course, we are now going into the campaigns, and we'll be seeing him from time to time, and we wish to have him next time here. Thank you so much for making time for us tonight on The Big Question. Keep talking to us, the hashtag. Thank you, Walimu. The hashtag is The Big Question. You can also text us on 22422. What do you think are Dida's chances? Does he stand any chance in the presidential election in 2017? We are back after this break.